to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. Everybody to the show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I am a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. You can find out more about that by going to gatewoodmarketing.com. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's College. I'm also a business developer, consultant with the Small Business Administration through the 8A program, written a couple of books, Smarter Than the Boss and Played in Full. And I'm just glad to be your servant here on this Friday. Leading into Labor Day, this is I think Labor Day is like the official end of the summer. And I think it's the last official day you can wear white shoes. So if you have white shoes and you haven't worn them yet, well, you have to put them away till next year. But I know my audience does not live by such superficial guidelines. So do your own thing, whatever color shoes you want to wear. Also, it's also the official kickoff of the selling season. When Labor Day hits, it is it's like a round. You have a round of selling season. You go from Labor Day to Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas, Kwanzaa, and New Year's, right on up to Valentine's Day. So start looking at your year-end strategies. Also, don't wait till December 31st to start thinking about what you're going to do in 2024. So this is a good time to look at those things when we're looking at this end of the summer, beginning of this selling season. So thank you again for tuning in. To all of the new people tuning in, I want to say welcome. And to those who are tuning in, as they have always done, welcome back. And thank you again for making this show the popular show that it has become. We are a business development show. We are built, and our mission is to build businesses and put people to work. We have an exciting show lined up here today. We're going to talk about selling and ads and how to make them more effective. And one of the things you have to be very keenly aware of is called a call to action. We're going to talk about that. And that could be one of the main reasons your ads are not producing or not getting the desired results. So we're going to talk about call to action, and you've probably seen the acronym CTA. We're going to do a deep dive into that and how you can make your ads work. We're going to talk about where you should put your CTA, and we're going to give some examples of what CTA can be, how it can be applied. If you haven't already, go to the Marketing Pulpit Business Directory. The shortcut is mpi.bz, or you can go directly to marketingpulpit.com and you'll see a link on the homepage for the Marketing Pulpit Business Directory. It's also, if you're tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, you'll see the address scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can also see me. Hey, everybody. And I'm glad to be here again. So you can catch the show on Radio 1 95.9 FM, where we are simulcasting the show right now. And you can also get it on these different platforms, like I said, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. While you're in the directory, check out these upcoming events. Today is also the first Friday where we get together over at BLE Executive Suites. One of our primary sponsors have their 3 locations, one in National Harbor, one in Largo, one in College Park. And they are sponsoring an event called First Friday, as we have done for almost a year, the first Friday of every month, where we get together, network. We talk about the law of attraction. We talk about business success. Miss Bernadette Clay, who has been amazingly successful, she's going to be there sharing some of her secrets. Also today, we're going to be sharing information on how to transition from personal credit to business credit with our special guest, Miss Michelle McElween. So got a great show lined up, and a great First Friday comes up today at 11:30. So if you're in the DC area, get on over to Largo at 11:30 and join us. I'll be there. I'll be emceeing, as I've done for the past few months, and we're going to have a great time. Also, this is also starts the National American Teenager contest in National Park, where one of our sponsors, Miss Martina Myers, she's going to be there. And don't forget tomorrow, the big event at the MGM Grand, the 222 Productions is giving a big entrepreneurial networking event. And it's going to be from 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's going to be full of networking, food, some dynamic speakers, and these two dynamic brothers, Eric and Derek. You've got to check them out. You can go to their website also, 222 Productions with a Z on the end. You can also go to the business directory, mpi.bz, and you will find all of the events that we talk about in the directory. So check them out. I will be there tomorrow, and I'll be eager to meet the brothers again and find out more about what they'll be talking about. Also on the 16th of September, Minister of Wellness, Nathaniel Jordan, is having a big event. He's coming back to town. He and Rock Newman and Ruby Lathon. It's a great group of people who are very into health and health awareness. They're going to have a big event over at the Union Temple Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. That's going to be September 16th. Speaking of the directory just is the gift that keeps on giving. We have new people joining up all the time. Matter of fact, this morning we have HBCU Leggings, an exciting group out of Beltsville, Maryland. Amina and Lois, great group of people. Be working with them to help build their brand. But they've taken a smart move by getting into the business directory. They sell these leggings that has the logos and emblems of the HBCUs, Howard University. And matter of fact, they're going to have a big showing at the Howard University Homecoming coming up in October. Glad to have them in the directory. Also, we have Cake Baby out of the Pentagon Fashion City Mall. They have a slogan, would you like some cake, baby? Very creative name. So as you can see, the marketing pulpit is the place to be if you're going to have a successful business. And we have just a great lineup of guests. Last week, we had Small Biz Liz from Washington, D.C., talking about some of the Black business challenges at the end of our Black Business Week. We had Karita Giddings out of North Carolina Black Alliance. We also had guys from 222 Productions. They were on a few weeks ago. Attorney Margot Thomas, Sher and Sid from EAS Entertainment. We just have a great lineup of guests. And next week, we'll have another interesting lineup. Let's talk about Labor Day. This is the Labor Day before weekend. And if you're going to be out in the streets, traffic is going to be a monster. Matter of fact, one of these agencies say the time not to travel is going to be Friday morning. No, they say Friday morning is the suggested. I can't believe that. They said Friday morning is the time to travel, and Thursday will be the busiest. So that was yesterday. And so if you're looking for that long weekend, domestic airline and rental car costs are down more than 10% from last Labor Day. So it may be a good time to travel this year for Labor Day. Also, like I said, we're having these, this is that kickoff of the selling season. So if you're getting ready for Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, and so forth, this is the kickoff, and don't wait until the end of the year to start making those plans, because we're starting to see some season changes. So if for instance, you're in the home improvement and if you're doing outdoor renovations or gardening and things like that, you're going to start seeing the leaves falling and all these opportunities, fix up those decks, clean up those yards. So think about your industry and contextualize your services to fit the season. And that's a good way to get take advantage of some of these opportunities from above. Let's talk quickly about some of the things that are happening in the news. OpenAI could hit $1 billion in revenue. And if you haven't already, you've heard about ChatGPT. They started charging, and they have an evaluation now of $27 billion and generated $28 billion in revenue last year. OpenAI is doing okay, and you're going to see more and more of that. Matter of fact, they said about 80% of the Fortune 500 companies are using artificial intelligence now in their operations, and specifically ChatGPT. So we're going to continue to keep you abreast of that. The Tesla Model 3 has come out, and it's being marketed in China. And people ask me, say, Robert Gatewood, do you have your Tesla yet? I say, I don't own the car, but I own the stock. So I am a Tesla owner. I got in early, thank goodness. And when it was still like $30 to $300 a share, and then they split a few times. So that's what I'm saying. If you can't own the car, you might as well own some of the stock. And that's, I don't give out stock advice, but sometimes when you're looking for ways to be an owner, sometimes your own business is still in that infancy stage, but you want to see some progress and making some smart decisions. Sometimes you might go ahead and look at some of these other companies and take a little ownership in them. Now, here's a story here that just really put tears in my eyes. A few years ago, when we started talking about when the pandemic was in its heyday, we started a segment on the show called War in the Workplace. And we talked about how the pandemic had really caused some people to lose their ever-loving minds. And it was really tragic. The stakeholders were turning on each other. Customers were fighting the owners. Owners were pouring hot oil on their customers. Customers fighting each other. Employees fighting each other over the counters. People jumping through drive-through windows, driving their cars through the front door of the restaurant. So I thought we had almost come to an end. But this next story out of Washington, D.C., it really boggles the mind. A teenage girl is dead following a stabbing at a McDonald's over sauce. That's right, over some type of dipping sauce that they ordered at the restaurant. According to police, the girls were at McDonald's together, ordered their food, got into the car together, and at some point, the girls got into an argument over the sauces, and that's where the stabbing occurred. Police said another 16-year-old girl was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. It's hard to even really wrap your brain around this type of tragedy. But I tell you what I've concluded. We're seeing a deterioration of morals and law and doing the right thing in this country. But I think this is what I'm going to point the finger. I'm going to point the finger to the top. You can't be lawless in government. You can't be lawless behind the pulpit. You can't be lawless in the school system and expect young people to know to do what's right. When you have a lawless government, when you have people that are breaking the law brazenly with no, or seemingly no consequences, young people are watching. And so what you see is an eventual gradual deterioration of society. And so when I read these stories about what happened with the young girls, that to me is symptomatic of a larger problem, that we have this lawlessness attitude, and it starts at the top. So if we want to change the trajectory of our young people, we have to set better examples. We have to elect people that obey the law, that understand morality, that understand doing the right thing. But we can't have these corrupt, immoral, lawless people running the country and then expect our young people to be the do-gooders. So that's what I'm going to ask you as a society, as my listeners, that we have to go to the polls, elect people that have some type of sense of morality and lawfulness. We have to hold our business leaders accountable, our spiritual leaders accountable, our social justice leaders accountable. Only then can we expect our young people to do the right thing. So what we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about advertising and sales and what you need to do as a business owner to make sure your advertising works. So hang on a second. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. and I'll be back in a moment.
Let me explain why we are not your typical directory. First and foremost, we don't wait for visitors to come to our directory. Instead, we proactively take our members directly to the shoppers with our aggressive advertising campaigns. For instance, we broadcast our own radio show on Radio 1 WOL 95.9 FM, on which we constantly promote the directory and its members. In addition to that, We advertise our directory on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We also feature our members on individual social media posts. And we invite our members into our studio to tell their exciting story to thousands of potential buyers. So if you're looking for an affordable and effective way to build your brand, find new customers, and grow your organization, do what hundreds of others have done. Join the Marketing Pulpit directory at MPI.
We are glad to be back. Thank you again for tuning in to everyone on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and LinkedIn. Glad to be able to bring you this information. And thank you again for supporting the show. Some of our regular listeners and tuner inners like Brother Gerald Brown of Eternity Plumbing. I think I just sent somebody his way the other day. Let me tell you something, folks. If you get into my circle, I'm going to support you. I'm going to buy your products. I'm going to send customers your way. I'm going to spread your name. I'm going to talk about you on this show. Just do the right thing. Now, you got to do the right thing. You got to provide a good service. You got to be moral. You got to be, and I'm not a judgment of who's moral or not, but I'm just saying, let's do the right thing. That's why I tune out this show every Friday with the slogan, if you want to be successful, do the right thing, do it at the right time. And you have to do it right. When I say do the right thing, that's not just pejorative. I'm not just saying, speaking rhetorically. I really mean that. Do the right thing. Don't put a product out here that's faulty. It's going to hurt people. Do it at the right time. Make sure your timing is right. And then be professional, put out a good product, and you will be successful. And that's why I've been working with clients for the last 30 years. And I must say, I have a pretty good track record. People like Joe Madison and Willie Jolly and Neely Fuller and BLE Executive Suite, Diet to Go. The list goes on and on and on. That's not to toot my horn, but I'm saying I apply these principles. And even though right now I'm not seeking clients, I'm pretty good. But if you have a product or service you'd like me to consider, then go to my company's website, gatewoodmarketing.com, or just send me an email through gatewood@marketingpulpit, and we'd be glad to talk to you. Or set up a free consultation. I'll talk to anybody free for 15 minutes. So I like sharing information to help you succeed. You can go to gatewoodmarketing.com and fill out, take advantage of that free 15-minute consultation. Be glad to talk to you and see if we can get you on the right track. Let's talk about advertising. Many people out here advertising right now, contemplating advertising. And I mean, you heard there's a ton of people out here telling you what to do. I'm surprised most of you just don't throw up their hands and discuss this. And man, forget it. Because all these so-called experts, people are telling people what to do. Well, the good thing about Gatewood and the Marketing Pulpit and Gatewood Marketing is that we don't just talk. We've done this, been doing it for many years. And I won't take you as a client. I won't give out information unless it's been tested and proven. So if you hear it on the Marketing Pulpit, I mean, like the old saying goes, you can take it to the bank because we do not play around with people's money, time, or other resources. So what we're going to talk about this morning is CTA, call to action. If you're running any type of ad, and the good thing about advertising right now is we have metrics and KPIs that we didn't have in the past. When we were doing traditional mass media, you run an ad and you throw a Hail Mary and pray that it works. You had no idea who was calling, how often they went to visit the ad or heard it. We now have these statistics and key performance indicators that tell us what's working. So that's the good thing about it. But you need to understand that if you don't have some type of call to action in your ad, it's not going to be as effective. Now, call to action is you have to tell people what to do. That's the short of it. Give them some type of indication of what you expect of them after reading the ad. And it doesn't have to be just an ad. It could be any type of promotion or where you're trying to get people to engage with you. It could be on your website, a social media post. It could be on a promotional ad, even your business card. You might say, hey, scan this QR code, sales presentation, elevator pitches, signage, or whatever. You're going to be more effective if you give them a call to action. You don't just when you do a call to action, you don't just make the call to action the focal point of the ad. Like if you're trying to get people to, let's say, buy a new wardrobe, you can't say, look, the main thing the ad can't be go to my website and sign up for something. You have to entice them with a hook. If you want to look better and feel confident, then go to our website and download our free guide on wardrobe tips. That's a good way to use a hook and a call to action. Now, you also want to make sure your call to action is what we call a low threshold approach. The call to action can't be go to my website and order a $30,000 car. The call to action may be a low threshold, come in for a free test drive or come in to see our latest models. So you want to make sure the call to action doesn't scare them away. I can't run it as a look, hey, call Gatewood and give him $5,000. I mean, they're going to say, man, you out of your mind. But what I can do is to go to my website and set up a free consultation. We call that a call to action. I'm going to give you some examples of call to action and what the purpose and what the actual call to action may be. Now, when you're doing an ad, remember also you want to make sure you have a goal in mind. It's another area where people sometimes drop the ball. They just run the ad and I want people to buy the product. Well, there are a few steps. Sometimes it could be up to 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 9 steps in that sales process. So you have to make sure the call to action takes care of those first few steps. One, let's give some examples. For instance, if you want somebody to make a purchase, a good call to action would be call today or get yours today or buy now. Okay, you've done your ad, you did the hook, a call to action would be buy now. We call that direct action advertising. So that's a little higher bar than, let's say, download a free brochure, but it's still a call to action just the same. Let's say if you have a newsletter or if you're trying to build your list, the call to action after you run your ad, even regardless of what the ad may be, you might say to get more information or to stay in touch with us, sign up for our newsletter. Okay, you don't have to sell the product in the call to action. It could be that first step in a multi-step process. Okay, now many people, they're trying to build their social media platforms. And once again, you're not necessarily selling social media, but the call to action could be join our platform, follow us on Facebook, okay, like us on Instagram. So you may use your call to action. It may not be what you're selling, but it's the call to action depending on the goal and the objective of the ad. Okay, let's do a few more. Let's just say like in my business, we have takes a lot of explaining to sell my company. My business. You just can't get up here and say, hey, look, you need some marketing, send me a check. So in the complicated sales process, I have to get them past that first hurdle. So as we stated earlier, my call to action would be call for a free consultation or go to our website and fill out our form for a free consultation. Now, if I just ran the ad and said, hey, look, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, call me and give me a check, I'm not going to get a response, no matter how good I am. But with a call to action and a low threshold, I'm more likely to get somebody to call or to fill out the form, and then I'm going to give them the best service that I can muster. And that's the other thing, too. I'm not just telling you go out here and start signing people up. I'm just going to tell you, be responsible and provide good service. Communicate. And if you have questions, by the way, you can call us at 1-800-450-7876, 1-800-450-7876. Let's just say you're a content provider trying to get people to read your post or your blog. Then you might say share or tell a friend. That would be your call to action. Event, like we have the event coming up this weekend at the MGM Grand, the 222 Productions. Okay, now their call to action would be join us at our event. Now, what they would do in the interim, though, to lead up to that is to talk about the benefits of coming to the event. So you're not just having people, the call to action is not just for call to action's sake. The call to action keeps the goal in mind, but you still have to give the benefits and, like I say, some type of hook to make it appealing. I get many clients often asking about, look, I'm trying to get more testimonials and reviews. That could be a good call to action. You could be selling houses. You could be selling whatever. The call to action could be go to our website if you have been one of our clients in the past and leave a review and give them some type of incentive to do it. Okay, you might give them a free basket or invite them to a certain event or something along that line. But the call to action in this particular case would be is to leave a review, and you may give them a link on how to do it. We deal with quite a few nonprofits. We just had one of our clients to do a big event this past weekend, General Hands and Feet over in Laurel area. And they're trying to build their stakeholders. Stakeholders meaning supporters and vendor suppliers, donors, and so forth. And so the call to action would be to come out to our event or to donate now. Call to action. Don't just do the flyer and get people all mushy-eyed and in love with you, but without telling them what to do next. That people really want to know what to do next. And if you're not giving them that call to action, you are denying them that opportunity to take this next step. Now, sometimes we have to speed the ball up. Sometimes people, they say, look, I need something now. So that's a good call to action also. You might say, don't miss out, act immediately, in addition to some of the other call to actions. So these are good examples of how to help improve your ad. So if you're about to do any type of advertising, I want you to stop right now. Think of the goal. It's to grow a list, to get people to buy right away, to come to an event, and then add a call to action. I guarantee you that you're going to improve the likelihood that ad is going to be successful. And speaking of call to action, if you want to grow your presence, build your brand, get announced on Radio One, attract important stakeholders, and so forth, what I want you to do is to go to our Marketing Pulpit directory. It also improves your SEO ranking. So go to mpi.bz and get in this directory like about 200 people have done since we started talking about it in a very short period of time, and get your name included so we can read you out and shout you out on this important platform, Radio One. Thank you, Ms. Kathy Hughes, for providing this platform. And also, don't forget to come out to the first Friday. It's going to be taking place in about 30 minutes. It'll be BLE Executive Suites at 9701 Apollo Drive. I will be there. Also, don't forget the event tomorrow at the MGM Grand for one of our sponsors, 222 Productions. Eric and Derek and Tammy and Broderick, they put together quite an event. So I'll be there tomorrow. And so also, I'll see you next week. And as always, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. Look up one day and the phone just rang and people are calling you from everywhere. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could be a accountant, you could be a web designer, you could be a model, you could be an attorney, a roofer. You say, where is all this business coming from? Because what you may not have realized is that you were planting seeds, even when you didn't realize it. That's why you're in this season. It doesn't happen nilly-willy. But what you want to do is harness the power of planting and planning to make sure that those seasons happen. By giving good service, you are nurturing and building one of your most precious stakeholders, and that's your customers and clients. But because of how you handled it, and because of the mindset, and the goodwill and brand that you put out there, you start to attract, if anybody here believes in the law of attraction, you start to attract other companies of like minds to be other stakeholders, such as joint venturers, such as partners, such as vendors, such as suppliers, such as staff. If they start to see your company and your brand in a positive light, it attracts positive influences, and it's going to increase the trajectory of your company.